Well, hello and good morning. Thank you for tuning in. This is the new podcast, What I Need. Hope you all have had your morning coffee, energy drink, tea, whatever it may be, for getting the day started. All right, well, I'll give you a little bit about me. My name is. Actually, you know what? We won't say my name just yet. Let's get into it a little more before I state my name. But what I will tell you is that I am 28 years old. I am from Pasadena, California. And I've had one insanely crazy life journey. And I just decided to start sharing about it. And the point of this is to possibly help people in their situations and to motivate anyone to accomplish anything that they want to and prove that anything is not impossible. But a little story about me is, well, since day one, I've pretty much been on my own, and I've had to do every single thing on my own, which a lot of people thought I would fail, or there was absolutely no way I could do it alone. But given the situation I was in, I really didn't have a choice not to do it on my own. In the very beginning, start from the very first, my mom passed away when I was 2. My dad at the time was he had his issues with substance abuse, chasing the '80s rock star dream, and that quickly had to end because he had to step up and take care of me. Well, he didn't necessarily have to, but he decided to do that, and he did. And continued going to school and all that. My dad took care of me up until I was about 6 or 7. Did a great job. He was a great father up until I was about 6 or 7. The second I was 6 or 7, he married his wife at the time. And let's just say she was probably Satan's assistant. She was quite terrible. But it pushed me into doing what I had to do because my dad was very infatuated with her and basically gave her full control of me, which was terrible because a lot of bad things happened, and I would look at him as like, what's going on? Why aren't you helping me? But he just turned his head and let things happen. So, since I was 7, I had to do everything on my own. Just because of the way she was. That's how she wanted it to be. But I eventually moved out of the house when I was about 15, 16. I moved out and I finally got my own place, which is surprising at 15, 16. I was working at the time, and I found a place in what was called the Penny Saver. Now, I don't even know if the Penny Saver still exists, but the Penny Saver was pretty cool. It would come in the mail all the time and have all kinds of advertisements of stuff that was going on. And I found a room available for rent for $400 a month and got it. Not too far from my high school either. So, believe it or not, I still continued high school. That was one of the big things that a lot of people didn't think I would be able to do on my own. But I did graduate high school. My aunt, not by blood, but she's had a very big impact on my life. My aunt convinced me to graduate high school and continue. Because she told me that they would be there would be some experiences and unforgettable memories that I would never be able to get back again. And she was right. She definitely was right. Uh, Made some good friends along the way and definitely some memories. But I didn't graduate with A's and B's. No, 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 no. I was definitely a D student. Maybe a C if I, maybe a C, maybe a C if I was lucky. But um, I still graduated high school, and I still maintained my own place, and I was still working. Um, Growing up, I've always had ideas of making money, all kinds of ideas. I guess entrepreneurship has just been in my blood for some reason. Now, a lot of people are scared of entrepreneurship because nothing is guaranteed, and people like the comfortability of knowing that, something will work out eventually. But that's not the way it works with entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, you basically throw yourself in the shit and we'll see what happens. But I loved it. I loved it. I mean, as a kid, I was always thinking of stuff. I mean, I would, uh, I would go into the neighbor's yard and collect a bunch of avocados off the tree and sell them on the street right outside of the house. Three for $1, holding up a sign. And I had a friend with me who would help me. I said to him one day, I said, "Hey, how can we attract more customers? We need more cars to stop for these avocados." And I mean, we didn't get that much money. But to us at the time, being so young, I mean, getting like $20 was just amazing. And we went straight to Rite Aid. And what we did with that money is we either bought some Pokemon cards or we bought a bunch of candy and ice cream and tried to make our own shakes. Wasn't too into investing just yet, but I remember I sat with him and I said, "How can we sell more avocados? What skills do you have and what skills do I have? I obviously have the selling. What do you have?" And weirdly enough, he started learning how to juggle. I guess he just liked juggling. So he had the juggling pins, he had the juggling knives, he had the juggling balls, all that stuff. So he would be doing that as I would be holding up the sign to gain more customers. And I'll be damned, it actually worked. People were like, "Wow, what's going on here?" People would stop by, compliment him on his juggling, ask for some avocados, and be on their way. There was one time, uh, what we did. We were about, maybe, I want to say, probably 12 at the time, maybe 11 or 12, and we were in. It was a very long street. I remember we were in our houses because he was directly across the street from me. Um, we were in the middle of the street. And we went to the top of the street because they just put new street signs in, like for no parking, yada yada, this and that. And there happened to be a no parking sign right up the street, or right across the street that they put in. And so it was a brand new sign. So we were looking at the sign like, "Oh, wow, that's a new sign." And we walked all the way up to the top of the street and we looked at the stop sign. And we saw that the stop sign and the no parking sign both had the exact same square plate into the ground. Now, I know we shouldn't have done it, but we were crazy little kids at the time and decided to do it. And we figured out that the new parking sign, the no parking sign that was new that they put in, the dirt, and it was still new, so it was wiggly. So what we did was we wiggled out. We went all the way to the top of the street and wiggled out the stop sign and the no parking sign and switched them. Yes, we switched the signs and put the stop sign right in front of our house. It was a real stop sign. and and it actually worked. We had lines of cars stopping on the middle of this little neighborhood street. They had no idea why they were stopping. They were just stopping. And also, by the way, I'm sorry if there's any background noise. My daughter just woke up, and that's another thing I'll get into. I just got full sole custody of my daughter, which was an incredible uh, accomplishment for myself. And so, anyways, yeah, we switched those stop signs around, and we actually got those cars to stop. And man, did we make money! I think we made about $50 that day. It was amazing. But just by switching that stop sign and that no parking sign, dude, that shows entrepreneurship right there. That we were thinking way outside the box on that one, on how to get more customers. I mean, you couldn't do something like that as an adult, but as kids, that's what we were thinking of. We were always trying to figure something out. We were selling avocados. We were selling oranges. We would go door to door and try to sell old stuff that we knew our parents didn't use out of the cupboard. And eventually I got, I started working for the LA Times. And that's really when I started doing entrepreneurship. Because doing that job, we had to sell the LA Times door to door. Um, and that's when I learned the strength of accepting no. Because when you knock on the door and just keep getting no's and no's and no's, eventually, that breaks you down because you're like, oh, god damn, man, nobody is gonna say yes. But then the entrepreneurial mind says, let's not give up. Let's try to figure out, how do we get these people to say yes? Is it our appearance? Is it the way we're talking? Is it our approach? I mean, because the product is right there. It's not that much. We went into pretty decent neighborhoods where they could afford it. So finally figuring it out, changing the way we dressed, changing the way we spoke. And after every no, turning the conversation around to eventually get a yes. Now, every situation was different, but learning that had a giant impact of every single thing I've done thus far, is getting past the no. And now that, I think, is the very first step, is figuring out how you could get past that no. Because there is a way. And even if you get hit with a no 100 times, out of that 100 times, at least one person will say yes. Or if even one person says maybe, boom, that's how you link in. And your mind has to work quickly to view the person, try to figure out as much as you can just by meeting them and talking to them only for 5 minutes. Now, going door to door selling stuff it's not just scary because, okay, you're going up to a random person's house. I mean, it's also scary, especially when a giant Doberman is barking at you through a screen door and a little lady is trying to hold it back, and you know damn well that dog could bust out and come out and bite you. But figuring out how to go door to door and conquering that fear and knowing how to provide the vibe to that stranger that this will be a very relaxing and actually beneficial conversation for you, because I will brighten your day by lots of compliments, and at the same time, you will be getting a product, the newspaper, that, yeah, you may not want it, but maybe one day out of that week the newspaper comes. There might be something you read or something you saw that you actually were interested in. And now, that one day that you saw something or read that actually interested you, now you are enjoying the newspaper every day because you're trying to find something new again. Now that's very gratifying service. So now that person remembers you and you sold that product to them. Now eventually you can go on, give them, once you save up money, give them a business card, your own business card. Or what I did at the time before I had money is I would just write my name and number on a piece of paper, and I would have about 13 of them, 15 of them ripped out and already ready to give out, and say, hey, if you know anybody else that would like the newspaper, just give me a call. Doesn't matter what their address is, as long as they're in the LA area code, I will get to them and I will sell them a newspaper. And that worked. It worked. Persistency is key, because entrepreneurship is not easy at all. There's going to be lots of failures, lots of no's. Sometimes you might just be broke for weeks, months, maybe even years. But if you keep that mindset, believing that you will and you can achieve this, it will eventually happen. But you can't give up. You cannot give up. I must say that over and over. You cannot give up. And on the next podcast, I'll tell you a little bit more. Every podcast I deliver to you guys, I will deliver a little more information about myself and where I've come from and what I've accomplished. Now, I'm not saying I'm a multimillionaire. No. Not yet, but I will. That, I swear to God, I will. But one thing that I have accomplished that I'm very proud of is that I've never given up. And not giving up has got me through some of the craziest life situations. Now, I hope you guys have had at least gotten some beneficial knowledge out of this. This is the very first podcast. So the next one, I'll give you a little more information about me and what I've done. And as I said, I hope this will help you out in any situation. It's not just entrepreneurship. Maybe it's sobriety. Maybe it's getting over a relationship. Maybe it's just feeling like the world is just knocking you down and down and down and down and down and down again. But I am living proof that if you stay strong, no matter what anybody says, you can and will get through it, and you will prosper. Because sobriety, that's another thing. Hence, the reason I have full sole custody of my daughter right now. Yeah, sober now, 7 months. Now that's something I never thought I could do either, but I did. And I will get on to the next story, next podcast. But once again, thank you very, very much for tuning in to What I Need. I hope you guys have a very fantastic, beautiful, strong day and accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish today. Because you will eventually accomplish everything that you want. But just know, if you accomplish at least one thing every day, you're getting closer. All right, guys. This is What I Need. Thank you very much.